Well, good Saturday morning to all of the Grizzly Bear fans, Grizzly Bear Sims fans out there in the internet world. And no, we're not going to worry about a Java update. Go away. All right, so this is episode number 15, and my apologies for missing getting an episode out to you on Friday evening or a stream out on Friday evening, but had some other plans going on here with the wife and other stuff. Actually, I also worked kind of late as well. And anyway, so let's go ahead and get right into the action because hopefully I can get two live streams almost back to back this morning here, this Saturday morning. And of course, again, this is episode number 15, so we still have quite a long ways to go, and well, still quite a short time to get there, really, when you start factoring all of this in. I sort of created let me see if I can find that right quick while we load up here. I created a sort of a countdown mechanism, and the countdown to November the 1st, which is when this challenge needs to be completed, is only 102 days, 12 hours, something like that away. So about 102 days. 102 days, and we're at episode 15, and there's going to be a total number of 72 episodes. So there you go. All right, well, we are putting ourselves right into the action here, just kind of looking up at the forecast there. Our current temperature is 43 degrees. Our soil temperature is at 54 degrees. Unfortunately, we have a wet crop situation, but that's okay because I'm not even sure if we have a crop to harvest right now. So let's get the rest of these eggs picked up. And then looks like our forecast is a little bit of a mixed bag of things. Looks like we've got sunshine first and then maybe some rain later with partly cloudy tomorrow on that Tuesday. All right, let's look at the, ooh, okay. So, wait, no, that's, oh, yes. Okay. We have soybeans down in field number 24, and they are ready to go. So obviously, if we needed to wait some time to harvest these, we could certainly do that because based on our weather schedule, we're not getting any favors here. So we're going to basically have maybe some time today. Now it's a wet crop situation right now, so I'm going to take a gamble. I'm going to take a gamble and go ahead and move the combine down there this morning because why not? We'll go ahead and move the combine down to that field. Obviously, we cannot harvest that until we get out of this out of this wet crop situation. I wish we were in a dry crop situation, actually. But we cannot do anything until we get dry crop. So let's see, can we get out of this gate? Oh yeah, that's another advantage to going with, we'll turn our headlights on here for safety. That's another advantage for turn our beacons on as well while we're moving down the public road here. But that is another advantage, obviously, of a smaller combine and a smaller header, is the fact that we don't have to mess about with a header trailer and all that kind of stuff if we didn't want to, because we can move our combine and everything around. I don't think we can get through that gate. That might be a bit of a squeeze because that's only a single gate, and I'm not sure how wide that gate is. I think our header is 14 or maybe 18 feet. Why in the world am I up so early? Good morning, Jim. Well, let's see. It's 6:54 a.m. They often say, what's the saying? Early bird gets a worm, or something like that. So yeah, I suppose that's my story. We'll park down here on this pad here, and of course, there's nothing that we can do at this moment until our crops dry out. So no need in even trying. So we'll just sort of tab up here and grab our telehandler and go ahead and get started cleaning up after I suppose our sheep, even though really doesn't matter so much with the sheep cleanliness right now in this season, but what I've been trying to do is I've been trying to sort of stay in the habit, if you will, sort of stay in the habit of maintaining our animals in the morning and in the evening, just taking the few minutes of real time. Obviously, a lot of game time does pass by for doing this, but this will sort of keep us in the habit, because right now sheep do not produce wool until spring. So from a productivity standpoint, it really doesn't hurt us. They're breeding. I suppose it could hurt us, but I think that they don't breed until, oops, a little bit left there. I don't think that they breed until spring anyway. All right, that's good enough. Good enough for government work, what I usually always say. Makes a few people usually laugh a little bit. So only 18 liters of spilt grass out there, but that's okay. We'll go ahead and get this dumped back in, and maybe it won't dump because I think it's because their food trough is full. Okay, not a problem. So this is sort of the challenge that we have. Now, we are going to be needing to take a look at buying some sheep at some point, and let's just kind of take a look and see how much sheep prices are at the moment. Let's see. Just jump over the fence like that, like we're 25 again. And let's see, so sheep are at $3,400 a piece right now. So I'll just kind of keep an eye on that and see how that works out. All right, so really and truthfully, let's see, we've got a tractor that's connected to a tipper. So I will go ahead and just move it out here, out into the yard as soon as I can get this thing warmed up, fired up, and get it out here where I'm sure it will be in the way at least once or twice for something else that we might have going on, but at least that is there. And that will be ready for us to essentially move once that wet crop goes away, if it goes away. Now, we may have taken a huge gamble by essentially moving that thing up there, moving the combine up there to only have the dry crop never appear, and it could start raining again, I suppose. But we'll just have to take that chance. And I think what we'll do is we'll just move over here on this side of the tracks over here, and kind of start harvesting a few of these trees. Maybe if they're easy to get to, some of these may not be so easy to get to. And just kind of keep this process going. You know, it's we've made some pretty good money. Pretty much all of the money that you see up there has come from harvesting trees. We did sell some, I think it was wheat. I think it was some wheat that we sold. I think it was wheat that we sold in episode 14, somewhat awkwardly, I think, because we used the train. And even though I've got 500 hours in Farm Sim 17, I had never used the train before. And part of the excuse me, part of the reason for that was because it just wasn't anything that really excited me. I realize some people might say, but Jerry, why didn't you at least try it out? You know, I like the realism aspects of this game. I like the immersion of this game. I like to try to sort of put myself into the shoes of a farmer. And you know, in my mind, in my way of thinking, your typical farmer that is, you know, busy planting wheat and barley and tending to cows and pigs and sheep and stuff like that isn't driving a train to sell his or her stuff. He might actually deliver to a train station or a train depot of some kind, but he's not going to drive the train. And so so in Farm Sim 15, the train process there wasn't too bad. It wasn't too odd in thinking, because you could deliver it to the train station, and then you could basically send the train off. That was a little more, perhaps it was a little more realistic, a little more realism there. This way, maybe not so much, but anyway. I also recognize the fact that most of our farmers that are doing the traditional type of farming, wheat, barley, stuff like that. They're probably also not operating big Ponzi scorpions as well. Of course, they would cut down some trees if they needed to. If they had a problem tree or something that was getting in their way, most certainly they would cut that tree down. And they might even sell the logs from it, maybe as firewood, or in most cases, they would probably just use the firewood themselves in their own fireplace. But I digress. So let's back up just a little bit. Yeah, some of these are a little harder. So I'm basically I'm kind of keeping one eye. I'm kind of keeping one eye on that wet crop icon up there, because as soon as that thing goes away, we are going to shift gears and we're going to get into harvest mode. We'll use a hired worker to drive the harvester like we did before, and then we'll handle the emptying of his tank and everything for him with the tractor and the tipper. That's really our best setup. We're not taking the time to use courseplay. Courseplay is most certainly a mod that is allowed in this challenge. And if you're watching this stream and you aren't really sure what I'm doing and why I'm playing in 15x speed and all that kind of stuff, there's some information down below that will help kind of explain that to you. And there we go. But yeah, as soon as that wet crop goes away, we're going to try to get a jump on that. And some of these trees, we're just basically not close enough to it, I believe. Well, we have found that sometimes these things don't cut from one direction, so sometimes you can get it from a different direction, or come back a few minutes later and it'll be just fine. But anyway, so keeping an eye on the wet crop icon, and as soon as that thing goes away, then we'll again shift gears and get right after it, because we're trying to stay busy as best as we can. We want to try to maintain a level of productivity, again, sort of as best as we can. This is a nice big tree. But yeah, I'm up early too. It's funny. I get up. I never believed my dad. I never believed my dad when I used to, in school, grade school, elementary school, high school, when I was at home. I hated getting up in the morning. I've been for most of my early life, my early adulthood, and even in high school, I was more of a night owl than I was an early riser. And my dad would always tell me, he would say, son, you'll get used to it. You'll get used to it. And he says, one day you'll be like me and you'll just wake up before the alarm clock goes off. Of course, I didn't believe him, because when I was a teenager, and even in my early career, even in my early IT career, I was working nights a lot of times, or working late evenings, and so I would often not come into work until sometimes after lunch. Would be when my actual time would start, and that was great, because I could work until 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock at night, 8 or 9 hours or so, something like that, and then I'd stay up till 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and then I'd sleep until 10 o'clock or whatever. Well, my father was right, because where I'm going with this little story is, oddly enough, a number of years ago, and I'm 50, I will be 51 in October. A number of years ago, maybe about 10, or so, what he said actually became truth. I just wake up early. I wake up usually at the same time every morning. Now, part of that is my bladder telling me that it's time to get up. And I suppose that comes with age. Come on, straighten out. That comes with age, I suppose. And but yeah, so on Saturday mornings, oddly enough, I usually wake up at my regular time, and I can usually kind of force myself to go back to sleep for just a little bit, and maybe be able to squeak out till like 6, sleeping in, and that would definitely be sleeping in on a Saturday if I did that until 6. But then that was a little ugly, but we'll take it. But then usually on Sunday morning, I can maybe sleep just a little bit longer, a little bit later. But it's kind of odd. And then Monday, I will kind of get right back into the swing of things. And most times, unless it's a Monday coming off a vacation or something like that, I will wake up before my alarm clock goes off. And I have, like I said, I've been doing that for the better part of 10 or 12 years or so now. So I know you guys don't necessarily tune in to hear about all that kind of stuff, but it is just kind of my thing, my way of running my YouTube channel. I sometimes talk about things that are going on in my life, and I often tell stories about stuff. Sometimes it relates to farm sim, and sometimes it doesn't. So pulling all these trees around, some folks might think I'm wasting a little bit too much time by doing it this way, but trying to get things, I wouldn't say neatly stacked, because certainly that's not been our goal, obviously. If it has been our goal, we've certainly failed our little test, I suppose. But getting things all in kind of one location does make it easier when we come around and we pick this stuff up, and we will be picking this stuff up with the auto-loading trailer as we have been using throughout this challenge. Let's see, so coming up on 10 o'clock in the morning, and we still have wet crops, so not a big deal. We just have to live with that. And of course, I'm also keeping an eye out on the ground for gold nuggets, because we can collect the gold nuggets in this challenge, and I've got 9 of them. Okay, well, sometimes when they don't want to cut, you're better off just going to the next one, or coming around and trying to get it at a different angle, and we'll just skip that tree and come back to it from a different angle. So I'm probably not the best at running this machine, but I know I'm not the worst. That's not in the challenge, of course. Oops, as we run into the tree. But I've cut lots of trees with the Ponzi. I think if we look at the number of trees that we've cut on this map, and then factoring in the 300, wow, we're just kind of off-roading is not our friend this morning. But if I count the 300 and so that I've cut on Mountain Valley Farm, and that was not too long ago that we did all that on Mountain Valley Farm to sort of clear the way for our fields and everything. And if you're interested in that series, I think I'm up to about episode 14 or 13 or something like that on my channel. So check that out. And we basically start, that map is extra hard. It's actually, Mountain Valley Farm is actually modded or created by the same gentleman that started this challenge, Old Guy Farmer. And so it's a wonderful challenge. This challenge is. Now, I will just take the time that if you are watching this stream, I am doing a giveaway. I'm giving away 3 copies of Farm Sim 17 Platinum Expansion DLC when it comes out. You can certainly enter for your chance to win by listening for the code word of the day, or the code word of the episode, I should say, because I am hoping that we can get 2 episodes done back to back here. At least that's my plan, if I can if my voice will actually hold out. There's that tree again that we like to run into. So the way that you win the challenge, or the way that you win the giveaway, is you listen and watch my videos, and you need to be a subscriber. So if you're just watching and you're not a subscriber of the Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel just yet, please go ahead and click the subscribe button. And while you're at it, also please go ahead and click the like button as well. I would appreciate that as well. And Country Girl 45, good morning. I am doing fantastic. Thank you for asking. I hope you are doing the same. So then you listen, or you watch, and you listen for that code word of the day. Then when you hear that code word of the day, there's some more information down below the video that will take you to my Discord channel, where you can basically then find some more information as far as how you email me the code word. So you basically email me the code word to confirm that you've listened to the GoPro. Hello, and thank you for subscribing. I appreciate that. You listen to the videos, and you get the code word. Sorry, I just lost my train of thought there. And then you email me that code word, and that of course tells me that you've listened and watched the video. So I appreciate you guys doing that. And there will be 3 copies. I will do the drawing on November the 6th. Now this challenge has to be done by November 1st. So we're playing for 3 game years, or 3 seasons years. So that is at 6 game days per. Ooh, okay. Hang on, folks. We don't have wet crop situation anymore. So we are going to get this guy fired up, get him opened up here. Oh, he was already open. Okay, and we're going to get him going. So we're taking a chance because we may not be able to get the entire field harvested, because we still have rain in the forecast for this game day. Let's see here. Let's left shift H because we want to turn off the alternative helper, and he already is. So that's good. And then we will fire this guy up, and then we're going to obviously hire a worker. He'll do this soybean field for us. So hired worker is off, and he is good to go. All right. So we will tab back down this direction here, and we'll get in our Ford. We'll let it warm up just a bit. The coffee is very good this morning here at the Grizzly Bear Sims household. And that's always a good thing. What are you playing on? PC or console? PC. PC. This map is not available for console because the part of the challenge is it does require the use of the Seasons mod, thankfully, because I just cannot play Farm Sim 17 without the Seasons mod. There's just the immersion. Well, mainly it's sort of the what's the word I'm looking for here? Sort of the structured way of doing things is what I enjoy about the Seasons mod, because it tells us, we can only do certain things at certain times, and it gives us that the reality, the level of reality or immersion or whatever of real life farming. So that's good. So he's at 12%. So the yield on soybeans just isn't very much. Isn't very high now. Thankfully, the price of soybeans is usually compensated a little bit. So the actual amount of soybeans that we will get off this field and the price for that will be a little bit more than what the price would be for the same amount of wheat, I suppose I should say. Country Girl, if you don't mind me asking, what time is it where you live, Grizzly Bear? It is 7:15 in the morning. I live in Denver, Colorado, and we are in the Mountain Time Zone. And HD Plays Sim says hello. Well, hello back to you. How are you? I'm doing fine. I'm actually having a very wonderful Saturday morning. Now we will also, because we're playing with, we're playing with the crop destruction mod and all that kind of stuff as well for a little bit added realism. We will try to make sure that we empty him on the correct side. That way we don't have any sort of ruined crops. And I'm tabbing through vehicles. I don't typically do this in my Let's Plays, but this is a challenge, and the whole art of the challenge, the whole goal of the challenge, I suppose, for those of us that are participating in the challenge, is to basically try to make as much money as possible. And so all the rules to the challenge are available down below the video. Essentially the way it works is we play 3 game years at 6 game days per season. We play at 15x speed, so it does make things go by pretty quick. When we started the stream just 26 minutes ago, it was 6 o'clock in the morning. And so now it is 12 just after lunch, and it's, like I said, it's only been about 30 minutes. We do have to essentially farm, or our work day, I should say, if we want to call it that. Our work day is from roughly the time that the Seasons mod starts us off in the morning until, and we have to farm until 9 p.m. Now, of course, at 9 p.m. if we want to, we can skip the night. The Seasons mod has a skip night feature, which is kind of cool. And so that will sort of automatically skip through the night, and it will give us back our, start us in the morning around sunrise, and then we can start working again. Now, if we want to, we can certainly pull an all-nighter. I have pulled a total of 3 all-nighters out of 15 days. We have worked 24 hours 3 different times. I did do 2 days back-to-back. I told everybody that even though that is allowed, there's no harm, no foul in playing 24 hours, playing around the clock. Obviously, it's dark when you're doing it. But again, for realism purposes, for kind of trying to think about, okay, well, how would a real life farmer be able to endure working more than 24 hours for more than a day or 2 at a time? I mean, he just wouldn't be able to do that. I mean, the human body can only stay awake for so long before things start happening and health starts getting affected, and you start making mistakes and stuff like that. So, so I have tried to limit that. I don't think that this episode will obviously be just a normal work day, and if I stream a second time, which I hope to stream right after this stream, I'll take a short break, and then I'll come right back, and we'll pick up and go into game day 16. But I am trying to limit that just simply because it's a little bit unreal to continue to work so long. So hopefully we can get this tree here. This will be a nice tree, a nice long tree. So with regards to sort of the rules and stuff of the challenge, and I know I end up usually talking about this during each episode, but I think I have a few folks attending the episode that maybe are first-time viewers of mine, of my channel, so I'll just take a little bit of time to talk about that a little bit. Again, it's not on console because A, the map is not on console, but also B, the Seasons mod is not on console. So there you go. We can use mods as long as the mods are reasonably priced, and we also have to stick to less than 250 horsepower on our tractors. Now, something like this or a combine can basically be more than 250 horsepower, and that's not a problem for the challenge. But our tractors themselves, so the things that we would use to actually pull our grain cart or plow or cultivate or seed or stuff like that has to be less than 250 horsepower. So it's trying to keep things somewhat realistic, obviously, because we basically only started with $15,000, and we started with I would say a pretty nice complement of vehicles. We had a combine, we had the JCB Fast Track, we had the little Sammy tractor, we had one of the others that I can never remember the name of, and so one of the first things that we did was we started selling off equipment to get a little bit of money, and then we managed to get some money. And once we reached about 300 and something thousand dollars, we bought the Ponce Scorpion, and we have already paid for it a couple of times, I think, that and the log trailer and the semi to pull the logs. And we have yet to find all the gold nuggets. We found 9, so we're one away from them being revealed on the map. But we're in no hurry to get the gold nuggets, simply because well, we've got, this is only our first year, and we're only just a little more than halfway through. So we have plenty of time to do that. There will be situations where we will have, more wet crop situations, or we will have time where we can go around and do that. Sort of my strategy for finding the gold nuggets is, well, I don't really have a strategy right now, I suppose. Some folks that have already found their gold nuggets on the challenge sort of went and did it all sort of in one game or one day. They just sort of went ahead and said, okay, we're just going to go ahead and do that and sacrifice the time and everything to go and collect that $1 million. Others, like myself, I think that I'm just going to kind of find them as we're in the general area. So obviously, getting all 10 found will be a good thing, because that will reveal the gold nuggets on the map. And then when we're in these areas working, whether we're there chopping wood or whatever, and we see a cluster of gold nuggets, obviously we will go after them. Now the other option with hunting gold nuggets is, obviously, because of the way the Seasons mod controls the grass growth, it basically knocks the grass back to stage 1 during the winter time, is that pending that we don't have snow in the ground, we could also try to collect a lot of gold nuggets in the first day of winter, pending that there's no snow in the ground. So we obviously have to make sure that we get out and get going before the snow starts falling. But we could obviously take advantage of that as well, because sometimes the gold nuggets, even when you can see them on the map, when they're revealed on the map, sometimes they are a little bit hard to see in the grass, because the grass obviously has a little bit of yellow, some flowers and stuff like that. So sometimes you might be thinking you're looking at a gold nugget, but actually you're looking at a little cluster of flowers or something. So I don't know, we'll just see, but we'll definitely get the gold nuggets before the end of year 3, because obviously that is like a free $1 million that all we really need to do is just go after it and get it done. So that will be the plan. There are about 6 or 7 or so contestants or challengers, participants might be the better word, that's participating in this challenge along with myself. And I've listed their YouTube channels down below, so I would appreciate it if you would go and check out their archived footage or archived videos, and maybe even catch their live streams as well when they're on. We're all sort of doing things a little bit unique. Some of us may be a little bit the same, but pretty much everybody has his or her. I think everybody that's playing is a guy, so has his own strategy. But certainly, it may not. If you're interested, if you play on PC and if if you are familiar with the Seasons mod, and if you've got a whole lot of time between now and November 1st, knowing that you're 102 days away, and you would need to basically do 72 episodes, it's probably not too late for you to participate in the challenge. Just, you know, and then sort of keep in mind that, well, you're going to have to, you're going to have a lot of consecutive days in a row where you're going to be doing nothing but playing Farm Sim, just so that you can make sure that you can meet the deadline. Because as I have sort of said a few times, and I'm sure folks are getting tired of me saying this, but you know, even though it seems like November 1st is a long time away, it really isn't, especially when, you know, real world things, when you factor in stuff that, you know, travel and stuff like that, other things, other commitments that you have to do with your family and such. So let's see, let's just go ahead and shut this down, and we'll tab over, and we'll tab into this guy here and get him fired up. And we're gonna miss him on that pass, but I think that maybe, just maybe, we can empty him when he comes back down this direction. And like Mr. Nightbot there says, if you like what you see, please click the subscribe button. I would appreciate that. I would appreciate that immensely. And of course, you do need to be a subscriber to be eligible to win the drawing. Hunter Oliver, I'm sorry, Hunter Oliver, hello, and hello back to you. Hunter, I was just talking about the giveaway. You can read more information about that down below. I will be giving away 3 copies of the Farm Sim 17 Platinum Expansion DLC. Jesse Gomez, good morning to you, or afternoon maybe, depending on where you are. CWC Gaming, hello and welcome to the stream. No, this is PC. The DLC, Giants, I think the target date for release of the DLC is around the middle of November. November 14th or 15th, something like that. And of course, I'm sure with Giants, especially if they're still working on that DLC, still coding it and everything, I'm sure they also feel very much like we might feel that's participating in the challenge, that even though November 1st is a long ways away, looking at it on the calendar, when you're coding something and you've sort of made a commitment that that's going to be the date that it's going to be released, I'm sure that time is speeding by for them. But so we'll end this competition. This challenge has to be done by the 1st of November. I will be doing the drawing for the giveaways that I'm doing. For those of you that have been watching, we'll be doing that on Sunday, November the 6th. And in that way, you'll know before the DLC actually releases whether or not you have won. And then, of course, if you don't win, sorry about that, obviously. But if you don't win, then you can go ahead and buy the DLC. What's in the DLC? Hunter Oliver asks. What's in the DLC is going to be a new map, and it's going to be, I believe the map is going to be situated in, in South America. So it sounds to me like Giants is somewhat expanding into South America, which is kind of cool. There will be some new equipment because there is going to be a new crop type, and that new crop type is going to be sugarcane. So the new equipment will obviously be sort of geared and focused around harvesting, growing, planting sugarcane, which is kind of cool because my wife and I typically try to drink, even though we don't drink a whole lot of Coca-Cola, but we do try to drink the Coca-Cola that is bottled in Mexico, where they use, I think that's about the only Coca-Cola that I've found is the ones that's bottled in Mexico that is made with actual real sugar cane instead of the other type. Trap Benny, hi bro. Well, hi bro, back to you. Thanks for stopping by. And Jesse Gomez says, hello bro, Texas. I am from Texas. I don't live in Texas, but I was born and raised in the great state of Texas, the Lone Star state of Texas. I am a fifth generation Texan. My great-great-grandfather was born in Texas before Texas was a state, back when it was a country, back when it was its own country, a republic. And so I take great pride in that little tidbit of information. But I live in Colorado now, and I live in Denver. That's where I wish it was, Hunter. I do as well. I wish it was cotton. There are some. I don't know if anyone has actually brought cotton to Farm Sim 17 yet. I know that there was some cotton stuff in 15. I don't think I ever really saw a traditional cotton harvester in Farm Sim 15. I think you could just more or less harvest cotton in 15 with a traditional combine, and it looked a little bit odd, but oh well. But it would be nice if they would consider, if Giants would consider maybe for 19 to, especially now that they have obviously that they have now sort of opened up, the U.S. with, well, I guess Westbridge Hills was kind of an American map, obviously. But anyway, it would be nice if they would actually come out with actual cotton harvesters and the whole functionality and everything behind that, because that's quite unique how cotton is actually harvested. It's when I drive down to see my parents, we go down, we leave Denver and head down I-25 south into New Mexico, and then we cut across New Mexico and come into the panhandle of Texas around Dalhart, and all the area around the panhandle of Texas, kind of between Amarillo and Wichita Falls down Highway 287. Well, there's a lot of cotton growing fields there, and they usually harvest cotton in the fall. Sometimes they're still harvesting cotton just before Thanksgiving, because a lot of times we go down for Thanksgiving and you'll see the equipment out there in the field still, and it's huge blocks of cotton, and they it's kind of almost like baling hay. It's similar. Oops, sorry about that. I don't own that field, and I've just destroyed some sunflowers. But it's very similar to like bales of straw or hay, but they're much bigger than that, obviously. Let's see, Hunter, Chris Webb. Good morning, Chris. Everybody that I have spoken to, including myself, are having a wonderful Saturday morning. And Hunter Oliver says, I hope on FS18 they have horses. I don't know. I mean, obviously FS18 will be, well, FS18 is actually out. It's the tablet, the iOS and the Android app version of Farm Sim. So I don't know if they have horses or not. FS19 would be the next version that we would expect. Would be the next version that we would expect to be out for PC and console. So not real sure if they will have horses or not. There was horses via. I played the Oklahoma map for Farm Sim 15. And there was horses on that map that you could raise and sell, and they were quite profitable actually as well, if memory serves me correctly. Something else I would love to see is I would love to see longhorn cattle. They obviously Giants has done cows in, I guess, pretty much every version of Farm Sim. I'd never played 13 or 11 or 9 as far as that goes, but obviously in the versions that I've played, 15 and 17, they've had dairy cows. I wish they would do, beef cows, and not be a mod. And I would love to raise some longhorn cattle. That would be kind of cool. Let's see, Jesse Gomez. Let's see. Maddie says, hello, Mr. Bear from Finland. Well, hello to you. And Jesse Gomez says, morning, Chris. I'm drinking coffee, playing Farm Sim 17 here in Laredo, Texas. All right. Well, I have been to your fine town of Laredo many times, actually. I didn't grow up near there. I grew up in sort of in northeast Texas, near Tyler, Texas, is where I was born and raised, as they say. But I've lived in Central Texas, down near Austin. I've lived in Austin. And then of course I lived in Dallas before I moved to Denver. And, running back through his farm again. He is going to just scream at us, I think, if we're not careful. All right, so let's just do this log here. And yeah, got a lot of logs there, Farmer Klein. And by the way, folks, Farmer Klein is one of those other challengers, and so his link to his YouTube channel is listed down below. And Farmer Klein has a bit of a unique strategy in this challenge. He is doing nothing but silage bells, and doing quite well with it. And so we certainly wish him luck, and we really do. Farmer Klein is I'd like to consider Farmer Klein a friend. And so even though Farmer Klein would like to somewhat mislead me just a little bit, it's all friendly. It's all a little friendly competition, I suppose, or challenge or whatever. So all of our, with this, and now let's get this emptied here, because we need to hurry up and get this grain we need to hurry up and get this grain under cover before it starts raining, because that's what we can expect to have happen next, is rain. And we need to get this get the soybeans up to the farm. But with the exception of the challenge, and obviously Farmer Klein is doing an excellent job with the challenge, Farmer Klein also is probably one of my favorite map review, and I'm not just saying that, I actually mean it. He has a much different approach on reviewing maps, and it's very, very thorough. And I think that when you're in the decision-making process of, I'm interested in playing a map, and I'm sort of interested in these sort of type of features and stuff like that, I think that by the time that you watch one of his videos, you will fully know whether or not playing that particular map is going to be right for you. And he does a very good job, and his channel is really growing, and I fully expect that Farmer Klein will very soon take over, surpass me in subscribers. Of course, I don't think that's what either one of us are necessarily. That's not goals for us. We don't really necessarily do this for subscription counts and all that kind of stuff. It's an extension of, it truly is an extension of a hobby for us. We enjoy talking to people, we enjoy meeting people, and so that's why we do it. But he's got a very good growing channel, and so let's see something. We are done with the harvest, so I'm sort of thinking that I can't remember, but we're done with the harvest. But let's see, where's our, okay, then we've got to I think we've got to drive this guy back to the shop. Yeah, I think that's our only option. So we're going to have to take the long and windy road to the shop to get rid of this guy, because we just rented him. Now we rented him. We took a gamble, because I was actually going to wait and try to rent the combine on a day where we could possibly do all of our harvests in one day, maybe and do an overnighter or something to get it all done to basically save on our costs. Our weather forecast at the stage of late summer, before we had any crop that was ready to be harvested, our weather forecast was much like what you see now. It was like every other day we had rain. So I sort of knew that that was going to be almost near impossible to try to do that, but we went ahead and took a chance, and we harvested the very minute that our wheat, barley, and canola crops were in. We harvested those, got those in, and then we only had one extra game day that we had to pay for the rental of the combine. So it's not the ideal situation, but it is sort of the way it all just sort of fell out. And of course, if we would have waited, obviously we could have probably started harvesting tomorrow, but then again we've got rain on Wednesday, and then depending on how long it takes for those crops to dry out, we would have had to have finished everything on Thursday, the last game day of fall. And that's just taking too many chances, I think, on this. And so, if you're going to do the work of putting the seeds in the ground, then obviously you want to make sure that everything is going to work out for you. And so we didn't want to leave anything in the ground. Now we did, I say that, we did choose not to bale the straw. That may come back to haunt us, because we may lose the challenge by just a few $1,000s, and if that is the case, then obviously that would have probably been the straw bales that we chose not to bale. But at the time, sort of me thinking about it and thinking about the rental costs of the baler, we're going to just kind of squeeze through here between these people and try not to knock anybody down, but the rental costs of the baler, all that kind of stuff, I just sort of figured that it wasn't going to be worth our time. I sort of figured that I could make more money with with cutting logs than I could with the bales. And we don't need, the bottom line is that we don't need the bales, because we're not going to do cows or pigs. So we don't need straw. All right, so let's go ahead and return our combine, and we got to back away and come back here, and then we will return our header, and we'll take an Uber back to the main farm where we are now. And let's just grab this guy. Let's see, it's coming up on 7 o'clock. So I don't know if we will actually have enough time to pick up. I don't know if we'll have enough time to sell any logs. I don't think we will. Actually, something that we need to do before we actually do that is I think that we need to check on our greenhouses, because so let's just do that. We can most likely tomorrow. We'll have our hired worker most likely tomorrow planting oilseed radish on the field that we just harvested soybeans from. And so our fertilization strategy, most likely, well, at least what we've sort of started with it, is going to be oilseed radish. And yeah, we're still too full to actually empty that back into the thing. So we're going to park this guy right here because we need to go get another bucket. But our fertilization strategy is going to be oilseed radish, and then we'll cultivate that in. That'll give us our first step of fertilization, and then I plan to spread manure, and we're using the manure mod, and that will give us a ×2 effect on our fertilization. So we should be able to get all 3 levels of fertilization without having to spread chemical fertilizer. Huh. Can you not? Oh, maybe you can't. I guess you can't fill the shovel with manure while it is raining. That is interesting. That would kind of make sense. That would follow along the same lines as the rest of everything with Seasons Mod. You can't fill a grain. You can't fill a grain tipper. Like if you wanted to sell something, we couldn't do that because it would be raining. Although manure, you know, manure is getting wet anyway. It's sitting out there. It's not covered. I wouldn't think that it would really be that big of a deal, but oh well. No problem. We will adapt. We will adapt and everything will be fine. So we'll just go ahead and put this guy under the barn. For now, anyways. Even though it's raining in our barn as well, but that's a Giants issue. All right. Then let's use this guy here, and we'll fill some water up. Where's our water tanker? It's under here. Let's see. Let me catch up with chat just a little bit here as I try to back this up. Farmer Klein, what I missed? I powered my laptop off by accident. There's probably a light in this barn, maybe. I'm just too lazy to go find the light switch. I also have problems remembering to turn it off, so I typically don't use the lights in the barns. But anyway, you didn't miss anything, Farmer Klein. Farmer Klein also is talking about he has. No, I didn't get the fertilizing bonus on the chopped straw, so I don't think chopped straw must not be added to this map. Looks like the pond's frozen. Let me just double check that, but I'm pretty sure that, yeah, we did not get anything off the canola field. This was canola, so this was 15, and so yeah, I guess maybe chopped straw is not on the map. If it is, then something's not working right. So with oilseed radish, I'll pick your guys' brains just a little bit. Farmer Klein, please don't intentionally mislead me. But with oilseed radish, do we need to cultivate that in before winter? Should we potentially consider doing that? So we do have 4 greenhouses for those of you that are new on the channel, that may not have been around in the episodes that we actually put our greenhouses in. We did go with 4. We may expand it. We may put 1 or 2 more in. We might have room for that. Hey, Skoski79, thanks for. Well, I'm planning on spreading manure, so that I can get the extra bonus. I've got the manure mod installed, and it's legal for the challenge and everything. So I was actually thinking about cultivating the oilseed radish in, and then basically spreading manure, cultivating that, and then seeding, and that would give me all 3 levels of manure. And yeah, it's a couple of extra steps of cultivating maybe when I didn't need to cultivate, but it gives us something to do. I mean, yeah, we can go out and chop wood all the time, but that will get kind of, I guess we'll try to see if we can if we can shovel that manure now. Yeah, I'll probably play around with that drone. I'll probably play around with that drone on Mountain Valley Farm. I'm not going to mess about with it here on this map because I don't want to spend the $999 for it, and I don't want to waste the time of messing about with it. Well, maybe because this is wet, you can't shovel it. All right, not a big deal. I think we've got plenty of manure. We'll have to get on this straight tomorrow morning, pending that we've got dry crop situation. You can do oilseed, then use poop, then use weeder, all free. Yeah, I don't have a weeder, and I'm not planning on buying a weeder. Even though I realized that if I would have probably bought a weeder back before the harvest and everything, the weeder would have probably paid for itself. But since we didn't do that, I'm not gonna waste the money on that. So I guess my question is, and I don't know if you haven't used the manure mod, then you may not know the answer to this, but essentially we got to do our eggs. But essentially, if you can't just basically spread manure over the oilseed and cultivate that in and get that same ×2 bonus, I mean, I suppose we can try it and see what happens and see if we get that bonus. We still have the sprayer, so I mean, if worse push come to shove, we can always just do that as well. So all right, well, it is 9 o'clock, 9:20 in the evening, and so we have fulfilled the rules of the challenge. And I do need to tell you what the word of the day is, and my apologies for waiting until almost the very end. But the word of the day for today is soybeans. Soybeans is the word of the day. That's the code word of the day, so that's what you would actually use to enter the contest. So we're just going to save the game right here. And then we are going to back out. We're going to do Alt-N to skip the night, like that. We are resting for another day. And at 6:01 a.m., I'm going to quickly save the game again. And then I am going to quit the game. And so I am going to end this stream, but I will be back in about 5 minutes, 6 minutes or so, something like that. So if you guys want to just kind of hang out and wait, I do need to end the stream so that it basically separates the episodes, so that YouTube will separate the episodes, and then I will change the titles and everything, and then I will be back for another game day, which will be game day number 16. So give me about 5 minutes to go get another cup of coffee and all that kind of stuff, and I will be right back. Skoski says 5 minutes. Oh my God, way too long. Okay, well, I'll try to shorten it as soon as I can. I know you're joking. So I'm going to stop the stream now, and I'll see you in about 5 minutes. Thanks.